10 minutes ago, Trump just unleashed hell on Iran, and the world just changed forever. If you are watching this right now, you are witnessing something that has never happened in the 47-year history of the Islamic Republic. Not in a decade of shadow wars. Not in 4 decades of hostage-taking and terror. Not ever. I am not talking about a drone strike. I am not talking about sanctions. I am talking about the complete, systematic, and irreversible dismantling of Iran's ability to threaten America, delivered in 57 hours of fury that have already rewritten the rules of warfare. For 47 years, the regime in Tehran waged a one-sided war against America. They didn't always declare it. They just did it through the blood of our people. Car bombs in Beirut. Rocket attacks on our ships. Roadside bombs in Iraq that took the legs off American boys. Murder squads in the streets of Europe. They chanted death to America while building missiles to hold our bases hostage. They funded proxies to kill our soldiers while pretending to be the government. And for 47 years, no American president finished it. Until 10 minutes ago. At 9:45 a.m. Tehran time on Saturday, February 28th, the skies over Iran surged to life. More than 100 aircraft launched from land and sea. B-2 bombers that flew 37 hours round trip from the continental United States. Tomahawk missiles from 2 carrier strike groups. Fighters. Drones. Electronic attack. Cyber effects from Space Command that blinded their radar before the first bomb dropped. This was not a strike. This was an extinction-level event for the Iranian military, as we have known it. Here is what the mainstream media will spend the next week trying to explain away. The first wave alone hit more than 1,000 targets. 1,000. In the first 24 hours. Command centers. Naval assets. Ballistic missile sites. Underground nuclear facilities that have peaceful nuclear ambitions do not need to be buried under mountains. Every piece of infrastructure. The regime built to project power. Missiles to hold our bases hostage, drones to terrorize shipping, a navy designed to close the Strait of Hormuz, is being systematically erased. And here is what they will never tell you. This has been coming for 47 years. The regime thought they had a shield. They built a conventional arsenal, missiles, drones, proxies, to protect their nuclear ambitions. They thought if they could threaten our bases, our allies, our ships, we would never dare stop them from getting the bomb. It almost worked under Obama and his terrible deal. They lied their way to the threshold while the world shrugged. But they forgot something about Americans. Something the 47th president understood in his bones. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. That wasn't a slogan in the briefing room today. It was a eulogy for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as an effective fighting force. The Ayatollah and his death cult spent decades exporting terror. They built nothing except proxies and missiles and deeply buried factories. They killed thousands of our brothers. My generation carries the names, with Iranian-funded roadside bombs, Iranian-trained militias, Iranian-supplied rockets. And then, in 57 hours, it all became rubble. Here is what the media narrative is missing entirely. The real story is not the bombs. It is the silence. U.S. Cyber Command and Space Command moved first. They layered effects that disrupted, degraded, and blinded Iran's ability to see, communicate, or respond. By the time the first Tomahawk hit, the regime was fighting blind. Coordinated space and cyber operations left the adversary without the ability to coordinate at all. They couldn't see the strikes coming. They couldn't stop them. They couldn't even scream for help. And while the offensive was relentless, the defense was impenetrable. Patriot and THAAD. Batteries. Ballistic missile defense-capable destroyers. Air defense partners across Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, all surging in beside us. Years of training, trust, and hard-earned integration paying off in real time. Hundreds of Iranian ballistic missiles intercepted. Drones swatted from the sky. Our joint operations centers calm, focused, and cool while executing under fire over and over again. And here is where it becomes genuinely historic. This is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. This is not 20 years of nation-building quagmire. The president called those wars dumb. He was right. This is the opposite. Destroy the missile threat. Destroy the Navy. No nukes. That's it. That's the mission. Laser-focused. Surgically precise. Overwhelmingly lethal. No stupid rules of engagement. No democracy-building exercises. No politically correct wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. To the Iranian security forces still standing, choose wisely. The message has been delivered in 1,000 strikes and 57 hours of combat. The regime is unmasked. Their missiles rain down on their neighbors, civilians now, hotels, airports, apartments. Cowardly terrorist tactics from a regime that has trafficked in cowardly terrorist tactics for decades. Their desperation is showing. And here is what the analysts are already calling the epic fury doctrine. You don't need 200,000 troops. You don't need 20 years. You need exquisite intelligence, maximum authority, and the will to use them. You need to shoot the archer, not the arrows. You need to control the airspace, destroy anything that moves, and let the enemy wake up blind every single day until they understand that the old rules are dead. The F-35s from the Vermont Air National Guard, mobilized for Operation Absolute Resolve, flew across the Atlantic instead of going home. The Wisconsin Army National Guard operates in Kuwait and Iraq. Reserve and Guard forces stepping out of civilian jobs to deploy and protect the region. The Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group redeployed from the Western Hemisphere across the Atlantic. Crew and families taking a deep breath and planning for combat. Professionals doing logistics, just like World War II leaders said. And still, the flow of forces continues. Admiral Cooper will receive additional forces even today. More tactical aviation flowing in. More combat power for the theater commander. The trajectory is set. The terms are ours. But here is what the mainstream conversation is completely missing. The real weapon in America's hands is not just the bombs. It is the message. For 47 years, the regime killed Americans and got away with it. They thought time was on their side. They thought the world would forget. They thought we would lose our nerve. They were wrong. And now every adversary on earth is recalculating. Every terrorist leader is looking over his shoulder. Every regime that thought American weakness was permanent is seeing something else entirely. The Canada-US relationship was supposed to be permanent too. Unshakable. Automatic. It took one man, one decision, one moment to crack it open. And cracks like this one, they don't seal back up. Now is your time. To those who would test our resolve or threaten the United States, our allies, or our interests, understand clearly. We can reach you. We can sustain the fight. We can scale the fight. And we will prevail. The U.S. military's Patuxent Space Base in Greenland, the northernmost installation in the world, hosts fewer than 200 Guardians and airmen operating missile warning systems and satellite command and control networks critical to detecting threats from Russia and China. If China launches a satellite or a fractional orbital bombardment system over the North Pole, they will see it. That capability is not going away. That vigilance is not relaxing. And neither is this president. There is no getting out of this relationship with gravity. The money the U.S. pours into signals intelligence, long-range radars, missile defense systems, space-based detection, cyber capabilities. It is on a scale no adversary will ever replicate. But they will try. And when they do, they will find that the United States Joint Force remains steady, frosty, calm, and focused. Trained, disciplined, and determined. The risks of this mission are understood. The weight of the responsibility is carried. The families at home shoulder the burden too. They are part of this. And the prayer, the simple, biblical wisdom to see what is right and the courage to do it. That prayer is being answered in real time, at 37,000 feet, in operation centers, on the decks of carriers, in the cockpits of F-35s, in the silence of space, in the ones and zeros of cyber effects. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway. And right now, across the CENTCOM area of operations, across the globe, in every domain, America's warriors are rising. The regime who chanted death to America got death from America. The proxies who murdered our brothers are watching their infrastructure evaporate. The missile sites that held our bases hostage are craters. The nuclear facilities buried under mountains are open to the sky. This is not the end. This is the first chapter of something that will be written about for a very long time. The border between the old world order and the new one is being redrawn. Not with diplomacy, with dominance. And that is the kind of redrawn border that never goes back. From all of us here, stay with us. The next 57 hours will determine the next 47 years. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay tuned.